Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today for a Claritysoft training session. Today is Wednesday, December 6th, and today we're going to be covering Claritysoft Basics. So for those of you who have not attended a GoToWebinar before, I just want to point out that there is a questions panel that you can use to ask questions as we go through the presentation today. If I don't get your question right away, I promise we always save some time at the end for Q&A, but that's a great way to get a hold of me, to communicate questions with me. If I see the question while we're on topic, I'll immediately dive right into it. But if not, I'll always save some time at the end for Q&A. All right, so keep an eye on that questions area and type up any questions you have in there and send them on over. So today, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at our agenda. Today, we are going to be going through Claritysoft's 3 primary applications, and we're going to do a nice little overview on all 3 applications. We're going to talk about some of the differences between the different applications and how they work, and then we're going to go through and look at how we perform different functions in each one of the applications. We're not going to do a full demo in depth on all 3 just because we wouldn't have enough time for that, but through the overview you should get a good idea of the differences between the different systems, how they work, and also some basic strategy on how to use them. All right. So the first one we're going to look at today here is Claritysoft Live. And we're going to go into Claritysoft Live in just a second, but I wanted to talk about some key concepts that are going to be relevant across all 3 platforms. We're going to cover a little vocab first here, right? So the first thing I want to talk about are leads. Leads are prospective customers, right? So if I go to a trade show, I always use this example. If I go to a trade show and I bring back a big old spreadsheet of leads, that big spreadsheet of names, we can import that into the leads module. Or are they going to call these people? We're going to email them. We're going to reach out to them and qualify them. If it's a good lead, I'm going to move it on to the next step. I'm going to convert that lead into an account and contact. If it's not a good lead, they're not interested, we're going to kind of set them on the back burner. So I want you to think about the leads module as a filter. It's going to help me sort the good from the bad. Right? The good leads are going to go on to the next step. The bad leads, they're going to get filtered out. When we think about accounts, we're thinking about businesses or organizations, right? An account could be a customer, could be a prospect, could be a vendor, a supplier, a distributor, a partner, whatever it might be. Accounts are businesses, organizations. And we know contacts at those accounts. So contacts are people. So if the account is ABC Company, I might know Susie Smith at ABC Company, right? That's an account and contact. We're going to look at all these in the database too. An opportunity is a potential sale. So when I've qualified that lead and I see a real opportunity, we're going to convert that lead into an account and contact and create an opportunity, a potential deal. Once I get to the point with the opportunity where I'm ready to send out pricing, I can take that opportunity, convert it into a quote. We can send out a quotation. And then when that quote is signed, we can convert it into a sale, right? So opportunities, quotes, and sales, think about that as like your 1, 2, 3-step sales process. And then, of course, activities are the backbone of any good CRM. Activities are going to help you navigate my to-do lists, okay? So let's go take a look at this in the software. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up Claritysoft Live here. Now, if you didn't see the link earlier, you can access Claritysoft Live by going to claritycrm.com, and you're going to come to this login page. You're going to enter your username, password, and database name, and click Sign In. And once you sign in, you should land on your home page. And your home page is going to give you that nice high-level overview on what's going on with my business, right? And this is all customizable. Each user can come in here and customize their different key indicators, different chart indicators, depending on what's important to me in my job. From here, we're going to move into those leads. These are my potential customers. And you can see I'm here in the lead list view. Now I want to talk about the interface a little bit before we move on. You see at the top we have our search bar. I can do partial or full word matches. So you see Pure Aqua. That's a lead here, right? I can just come in here and search Aqua. And even though I didn't put in the full name, it was a partial match, so it pulled the results. I can also search based on phone numbers, right? So we can do a partial or full match on phone numbers. We can search on people's names. So Bobby, right? There's Bobby Jones at Columbus Methodist. So we can use this search bar to search in multiple areas, and this is just nice quick searches. You also have some other search options like a global search. A global search will let you search in leads, accounts, and contacts all at once. And you have an advanced search. That's going to take you into the advanced search logic, and you can search on multiple criteria. And here we can fill out a form filter, we have a standard filter, and a time filter that can all be combined together. So you can get really granular with the results. And of course you have a standard filter, which is just going to let you pull up a filter statement. So we can really slice and dice our information. And guys, a lot of these tools are available in the whole application, right? That's why I'm kind of covering them now. The refresh option is going to refresh your list here in case you made any changes that didn't update. List all is going to bring back my full list. So in this case, I'm already showing 20 out of 20 records, but maybe I had filtered to only show leads that are new or something like that. You could clear out that filter by clicking list all. Now here we've got a filter by status, so I'm looking at new leads, but I could look at my converted leads, my closed leads, right? And we can also filter by different users. It's going to default to just showing you your own, but I can also come in here and say, hey, show me everybody's leads, right, and so on. So these are some filter options. Now over on the right-hand side, we got some menu options. The first being a list action. These are going to allow us to perform different list actions, such as mass email, group edits, things of that nature. So a list action might say, hey, let's take all of our leads and send them a mass email. So I'm looking at all of my new leads. I'm going to select them, list actions, email leads. And this is going to take me into the mass email tool. Here we can start typing up our email. Now keep in mind, if you've never sent an email from Claritysoft, you do need to first configure your email settings. You just have to do that once at the very beginning. But if you haven't set up your email settings before, you need to go into your settings and configure those. But remember that these are individual emails, so we can personalize them by inserting fields, like their first name. So as this email goes out, it's going to say, hello, David, hello, Deborah, hello, Freddie, and so on. Each person is going to get their own individual email. Now you can also build out templates. You can load up those templates and send them off. And then as you send these emails, it's going to show up for each contact under their completed activities. So you can go back to Carol's record, and you're going to have an activity that says, hey, we sent you an email on December 6th at 2:09. Here's the content of that email. It's going to show up in our history. It's also going to show up down here in your email tracking. So this is a feature that is exclusive to Claritysoft Live. And we have built-in email tracking. So you can see all those emails you've sent and if they've been opened or not. Right? So I sent out this email on November 15th at 3:45 to Ben Jones. He's opened my email 4 times. He's last opened it November 16th at 6:53 a.m. So we're able to get analytics into all those emails we sent. Have they been opened? How many times? When were they last opened? So this is tracking any email that comes through Claritysoft Live. So let's go back up to our leads there. And again, once we've qualified this lead, I see a real opportunity here. I might take this lead and convert it into an account and contact. Now it's going to try to find some similar matches. So it found this one account that was a similar name. It's just saying, hey, is this the same account? Just want to make sure you don't do a duplicate here. In my case, it's not the same account, so I'm just going to click convert. So it's going to create Pure Aqua, Bobby Jones, the account and the contact. It's also going to give the option to create a blank opportunity, an opportunity being that potential sale, right? So we're going to go ahead and click apply, and it's going to convert that lead into an account and contact. Okay, and now that lead is going to show up with a converted status. So let's go to my accounts. In accounts, we're going to see a list of all the businesses that we're working with. I type in Aqua, and there's Pure Aqua. That's a new account. But if I'm looking at one of these accounts like 3M, and I hit that little expand button, I'm going to get a snapshot into this record. These are all the contacts, all the people that I know at 3M. We've got our open activities. Open activities have not yet been completed. So this is my to-do list with everybody at 3M Columbus. Closed activities have already been completed, so there's like a history of my interactions. We got our opportunities, quotes, and sales, kind of our 1, 2, 3-step sales process. We can add in notes. We can upload attachments. We can build out relationships. This allows me to connect this account to other accounts and contacts. So all that information is available with just that little expand button. Now to the left of that expand button, you see the row action button. This is really helpful. This is your shortcut. So here I can very quickly come in here and add a new activity, add a new contact, add a new sale, add a new note, right, to this record. And it's very quick with this row action button. So we looked at the row action button, we looked at the expand button, we also have the open button. And the open button is simply going to open that account. So in this case, clicking on this open icon and clicking on the account name will do the exact same thing. It'll take me to the account detail view where I'm going to see everything regarding this account. So let's cancel out of here. Now we looked at our list actions. I also want to talk about this button here in the top right. This is the new button. You're going to see this all over. If I just click new account here, it's going to let me build out a new account. However, if I click that drop down arrow, I can create a new activity, a new meeting, a new opportunity, and so on. So depending on where I clicked on that button, it's going to give me different options. And then of course you have the menu button here on the right hand side. This is going to allow you to toggle the quick view, which is going to change as I select a company or select different accounts. This quick view is going to change. It's also going to allow you to access your view settings. So view settings is kind of cool. This is where you can change which columns you're looking at. So I've got my visible columns. That's what I'm displaying back here. We see owner, trade show, account, owner, trade show, account, right? So let's say I don't need trade show. I don't need to see that. Just get rid of it. But maybe I want to take a look and I want to put my city in there. Click apply. There we go. So now you can see we changed the layout. Now, when I'm looking at these accounts, you'll notice I've got them organized by this type field. I've got some customers, partners, prospects. I've got my accounts segmented. So if we go to our search options, you can see we have a segment search. Your segments are kind of like your two built-in custom fields, and they're going to let you really quickly slice and dice your data. So I can go to a segment search, and these are customizable, and I can say, show me my customers in retail. Click apply, and I very quickly organize my data. And then we could take that and perform a list action, right? So you see how some of this functionality builds on top of the others. So this is all within the accounts area. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit now, guys, and we're going to go into some of these other modules. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the differences between some of these different applications. So we're going to pop into the contacts. And this is where I'm going to see all the people in my system. And unlike accounts, we're going to just zoom in on these particular individuals. So accounts we think about as the business. Show me all the activities for everyone at that business. Whereas on the contact level, we're going to zoom in. Show me all my activities with Aaron, right? So the account is the big picture, the business. The contact, we're zooming in to this one person. We've got our opportunities, quotes, and sales. I've renamed mine to proposals just as an example here. You can rename these modules as you need, but our typical sales process goes from an opportunity to a quote to a sale. So if I open up one of these opportunities, we're going to see the details. We can come in here and fill out the information. A lot of these fields are customizable. We can add in products and services as necessary. We can add attachments, add activities in here. But the goal is to get all this information on the opportunity, this potential deal, so that I can take that and maybe send out a quote, right? So we can take these opportunities and convert it to a quote. And that's going to carry over all the information I've already entered. And now it's going to show up under my quotations area. We can open up that quote, see all the details of the quote, tax, shipping and handling, if that kind of stuff is applicable, right? But the goal of a quote is to take this information in my products and services and produce a PDF that we can send to our customer through a quotation template. So your company information goes here at the top, and then we grab one of these templates. We give you 8 default templates, but they're customizable. They're meant to be as like a jumping off point for you to customize. right? So I can download this PDF to my computer, I can email it to the client right from here, or I can take a preview. If we take a preview, we're going to see a nice example of this quote, right? So here's our information, who it's submitted to, that total information, and so on. All right, so let's cancel out of here. So once that quote is accepted, we might take it and convert it into a sale, right? So we can take this quote, convert it to a sale. Now keep in mind, not every organization uses all three of these modules. Some go right from an opportunity to a sale. Some go only from proposals to sales. Some just go right into sales. Some don't use sales. So it's a lot of flexibility here depending on how your organization uses this sales process. So opportunities, quotes, and sales, kind of the 1, 2, 3-step sales process. I want to pop into activities for a second. This is where we can come in and get our to-do list. So if I want to just come into work and just start knocking out some activities, this is where we can come in. And I can just start taking a look at my different activities. So I need to make a phone call here. I need to call James, right? All I have to do is hit that little expand button, and here's all my contact information I have with James. Here's his phone, his mobile, his fax. Right, here's his address. Here are my notes we did talk about last time. And come in here and see my sales history. The idea is that when we're on the phone with our customers, we can just knock out these activities, right? We can just knock them out. We don't want to have to jump throughout my entire application. When I'm done with this activity, again, I can use my row action button and mark it complete. That's going to carry it into my completed activities. So this is a nice little area to come in and just knock out those phone calls. You can even send emails from here using that row action button. So this activities area is a nice place to come out and knock out your activities. From here, we're going to pop into our calendar. This is our Claritysoft calendar. It's available in all three applications. This does sync with Outlook. We have an Outlook plugin that you can use to sync data back and forth between Claritysoft and Outlook. And we have our dashboards workshop. This is where we can come in and build those different graphs. You want to run different analytics. And then of course we have our reporting tools down here below. So Excel reports and standard reports. We're not going to cover these today, but we do have training sessions every month on reporting. So keep watch on those training emails. You'll see, I think we have a training scheduled on reporting next week or 2 weeks from now. And then we'll have again in January, we'll have again in February, and so on. So we can cover those reporting tools. But that's a very quick, very brief, very basic overview on Claritysoft Live. And I want to take a minute here and talk about the different applications. Many of you are using Claritysoft Live. This is your browser interface, but there are multiple ways that you can access this CRM. As I mentioned earlier, we have Claritysoft Live, Claritysoft Mobile, and offline. So Claritysoft Live is your browser interface. You go to claritycrm.com and access it there. It's available on any computer, any device. You can go in and access your CRM. It's working in what we call real time with the server, meaning as soon as I click save, it's updated for everybody on my team, everywhere, right? As soon as I click save, it's saving it to the server. That's different compared to Claritysoft Offline. Claritysoft Offline syncs with a database, meaning everything is saved locally, and then when I sync, it pushes it up to the server. So the benefit to Claritysoft Offline is that I can work without an internet connection. So I hop on the plane, I work locally in my database. When I land, I sync up my changes. Okay, so Claritysoft Live and Claritysoft Mobile work in real time with the server. That means saves happen automatically, but that also means we need an internet connection to use these two devices, two applications. That's where Claritysoft Offline, again, is different. It saves things locally, then syncs to the server. It's also installed on your device. Claritysoft Offline must be installed on your computer, and that's only available for Windows computers. So that's kind of the difference, whether it's working in real time or whether it syncs, and if it's in the browser, like the first two are, or it's locally installed, like the third one. Okay. Keep in mind though, guys, everybody gets access to all three of these. So you don't have to pick and choose one or the other. You can use any combination of the three. So that being said, we're going to move into Claritysoft Mobile next, and then we're going to round out with Claritysoft Offline. So Claritysoft Mobile is available for smartphones, tablets, our mobile browser. you go to m.claritycrm.com. So let's go take a look. And this is responsive, so it's going to change in regard to your screen size. So just to make things look a little bit better, what it might look like on a smartphone, we're going to shrink this up here. And I'm going to pull it off to the side so you guys can still see those URLs in case you need those. So this is Claritysoft Mobile. So again, I enter my username, password, and database name and click Sign In. And then we go to our main module here. And you can see these are all the modules that we looked at earlier. I can go into the Leads module and see all my leads. We can come in here and run a search, right? We see our leads. Now, we can also run an advanced search using the magnifying glass. We can also run a filter. If you look at the top here where it says leads, you see new, and I can change this. Maybe I just want to see my working leads versus my converted leads, right? And in fact, if I come in here, we see Pure Aqua. That's that lead that we had converted. Now it's in my converted leads. Notice this happens right away. I didn't have to sync anything or anything like that. These were changes that I made, 10 minutes ago in the other database. They're automatically here. So anytime you see this little black arrow, that's going to let you click on this item. So you can notice that my cursor also changes. This means that I can click on Pure Aqua and it's going to take me into the lead. So I click on it and it's going to go to the lead detail view. Now here in the top right corner, you're going to see another button. This is the Claritysoft icon. And this is going to let me quickly jump between modules. So I can jump down to my contacts area. And here are all my contacts. I can click on Patrick Campbell because you see that little black arrow, right? When I'm looking at a contact, we're going to see the details. So here's his contact account, his email. And you'll notice we got some hyperlinked options here. So if I click on this little email icon, it's going to open up a new email on my phone and put his email address into the to area. I can call his office. If I click on that phone icon, it's going to put his phone number into my dialer. I can text or call his cell phone. I can even get driving directions. If I click the map it icon, it's going to pull up in Google Maps and it's going to give me driving directions to his location, to his address at least, I should say. And then down below we have our different tabs. These are like the different tabs, right? So I've got additional information. I've got my opportunities, my quotes, my sales, right? All available right here. I've got attachments, activities, notes. What's cool about this is we can come into proposals. And you see I got this one proposal. Let's open it up here. And right from my mobile device, I can send out a quote. So in the top right corner, we can go to send quote. We grab a template, right? These are those same templates that you use in Live. I can download the quote to my phone as a PDF, or I can just email it right from here, right? So I go to my customer, I go stop by and visit them. I'm talking to them, and I find out what they're looking for. I put it into a quote, and I send it to them from the parking lot, right? 5 minutes after I talk to them, they have a quote in their inbox. That's cool. So we'll close out of here. So these are all the quote details in this case. And right from here, I can convert this into an opportunity or into a sale, right? So you have a lot of the same functionality available here. So that way you can access all the same information. So I do have a question here. Give me 1 second to read it, and I'll read it out loud for everyone and then answer the question. Okay, so I had a question here from Cecilia, and she asked if there's a way to mirror their configuration of Claritysoft Live to mobile. So for example, they have some modules that they're not using, and those are still visible in mobile. So I will say that we are rolling out some updates here in the next while that are going to allow you to make changes like that. So she's saying if they have, if they've got opportunities turned off, they don't want to see opportunities in Live. So we have functionality coming soon, Cecilia, that'll let you do that. I just want to be transparent. That's not available this minute. Now, she also mentioned that they have a hard time seeing their custom fields when they're looking at a contact. And I just want to point out that those custom fields are stored under More Info. So if you go to More Info, this is where you'll see those custom fields. we just don't have enough real estate to put them all here at the top. So check under more information, and that's where you'll usually find your custom fields. But yeah, Cecilia, keep an eye on our update log. We should have some updates rolling out to live in the next while that should also take care of that module issue. So good question. Thanks, Cecilia. All right. So we looked at a contact record here. We looked at a lead record. We looked at a proposal. I want to take a look at a couple other things. We're going to pop down to activities. And this is, again, where I can get my to-do list. So even if I'm on the road, I can come out here and start knocking out my phone calls, right? I can start knocking out my emails. And we also have access to our calendar. This is something that I use all the time, personally. I live and breathe by my Claritysoft calendar. I'm in meetings most of the day, so I need to be able to see very easily when my next meeting is, where it's at, who it's with, what are the notes, things of that nature. And since I'm in meetings most of the day, I like to usually check my calendar in the morning before I even head to work. So that way I can come in here while I'm eating breakfast and see what the day looks like, see what kind of activities I need to complete. Okay, so at the top you can also change whose calendar you're looking at. Now, of course, this can be restricted. But we can come in here and access a lot of the same functionality in mobile that we can in live. I want to mention there are a few things that we cannot do for mobile. One of those things is mass email. Mass email needs to be done through live or through offline. And we also are not able to produce reports from mobile. So those need to be either from live or offline. Those are the big ones, though. Most everything else we can do. We can convert records, we can create new records, we can mark records complete. So you have all that same functionality. I can come in here and access this phone call. When I'm done with this phone call, we can mark it complete. That's going to carry over into my completed activities. All right, so let's cancel out of here. So next, guys, I want to take a look at Claritysoft offline. Again, that's installed on your application, installed on your computer, and it has the ability to work without an internet connection. So I'm going to pull open Claritysoft offline here, and we load it into the accounts module. And you're going to see that the interface is somewhat familiar, right? We've got our list here in front of us, and as I select records like 3M Company, the information at the bottom changes. These tabs change. So these are my contacts. These are all the people I know at 3M, all of my opportunities at 3M. If I click down to Abbott Laboratories, these are now my opportunities for Abbott Laboratories. And I can double click on records to pull them up and see the details, make changes, edit custom fields, add records, things of that nature. So in offline, we're really going to focus on double clicks and right clicks. So if I double click, as I mentioned, it's going to open the record. If I right click, it's going to let me perform some kind of action. So here I can, run a report, or I can select all these records and then, run a report. Along the left-hand side, these are where you have your segments. So your industry, whoops, my apologies, guys. You've got your industry and type. So this is where I can click the drop down, say, all right, grab everybody in education, right? Click find, and this is my one education account. Clicking list all is going to bring back my full list. We also have the partial and full match on the find area. So these are my accounts. Now, as I mentioned in live, you can also change the layout here. You notice I got name, phone, type, industry, city, owner. You can change these columns. If you right click along the top bar here, you can go to your field chooser. Field chooser. And then this is going to give you this little pop-up box. And you can just click and drag fields into this box. So city, I don't need that. Drag it into my field chooser. But hey, I want to see their expiration date. Click and drag, right? So you can choose the layout here. You can move these around as you need. You can add and remove items as needed. And that, again, is going to this top header, right-clicking, and going to field chooser. Now, before we progress, there's another thing I want to talk about here on this interface. These are some of the tools along the top left. The first one is probably the most important one, sync data, right? So sync is going to actually take the changes that you've made locally and push them up to the server. And it's going to bring down the changes that your team has made. So while I was on that flight for 3 hours working offline, my coworkers made a bunch of changes. Well, when I land and I sync, it's going to push up my changes, all the stuff that I did while we were flying, and it's going to bring down their changes, all the stuff that they did while I was in the air. So it's going to make the two match up, right? We also have our show detail field here. So this is where you can choose the information that's being displayed over here in the account details. So you see contract expiration date. Maybe I don't want that, right? We can organize these. So I've removed contract expiration date and I switched type and industry. So now you can see that that information is displayed here on the right-hand side. Okay, so that again is with the show detail field. We can run a filter. We also have access to our actions here. This is the same as if I right-click. So if I right-click down here, I get this list, and that's the same list as the action list, right? Refresh is going to just refresh the page if I had made updates and they didn't show for some reason. We can also come in here and select to edit this record. This is going to do the same thing as double-clicking the record. So I click edit, it's going to pull open the record. We can delete this record. We can come in here and do a print preview. So that's going to load up and give us a print preview of that document. In this case, it doesn't have any pages here. So let me go back to Claritysoft. We can print this record, and we can also add new records. Again, if I click the new button, it's going to add a new account. If I hit that drop down, it's going to let me add a new activity or a new sale or a new meeting or whatever it might be. And then along the top, we've got some buttons. We're not going to go through all of these. You have help. You can go to our support site. That's the one I'll recommend. It's going to take you to the support portal. You can come in here and access different reports, and we also have importing tools available under tools. And let's say you screwed something up in your database and you want to just kind of, you just want to get a fresh copy from the server. You can always come in here and go to database, new database. And that's going to pull a fresh copy from the server. Keep in mind, though, that any changes you've made since your last sync will not be synced. Okay? So that's helpful. If I do an import and I just royally screw things up, I can just create a new database and that sync will basically, it's like it never happened. I'll revert back to the existing database. So these are some helpful options in here. Now, let's go to contacts here real quick. I want to show a couple features within contacts. And notice I've got some filtering going on here. I have grouped my contacts based on their title. So you can actually group so let me clear this out and show you. So we can group our contacts in our fields by a certain column. So let's say I want to group my contacts based on the city that they're located in. I can click and drag city up here. And so then I see Abbott Park. Here's all the contacts in Abbott Park. Show me everybody in Allentown, right? In this case, one contact. Show me everybody in Atlanta. So I've got several in Atlanta. So we can provide grouping here. And of course, we can also clear out this grouping. Okay. And if you don't want to group, you can hide that grouping box. So when we're looking at our contacts, I can, of course, double-click a contact. It's going to open it up for me. And we can run filters and searches along the left. But let's just take a quick example. Let's grab my customers. And let's say we want to do a list action. All I have to do is right-click and select them. So I've just selected everybody that's filtered. And then right-click, and we've got our different list actions. All right, so here I can group edit. I can create a new activity. I can email these contacts. I can do a mail merge. A mail merge would be for making like actual physical letters we'd want to send through like the post office and mailing labels, and we can run reports. So right-clicking is a big component of Claritysoft Offline. Now, just like before, we've got our opportunities, quotes, and sales. I can take an opportunity, right-click on it, and convert it to a quote, convert it to a sale. It's going to move me through that sales process. I want to pop down here and take a look at the calendar. This is the Claritysoft calendar. I had a question here from Kendra. Kendra asked if the calendar can sync with Outlook. It absolutely can. That's through our Outlook plugin, and I'll show you where to get that here in just a second. And so you can mirror your calendars back and forth. The plugin works with all the applications, so you can have it set up to automatically sync your calendar. So we'll look at that here in just a second, Kendra. And then here I can also choose different calendars to look at, so I can compare my calendar versus Steve's, show them side by side, right? And then of course we've got our dashboard and our leads as well. So a lot of the functionality here is the same between all the different applications, and it was designed to be very similar. It just is slightly different in how we handle it because of the different technological constraints we're working with. We can't really do a right click in the browser, so instead we have that row action and list action buttons, whereas a right click in the offline application is a very quick and easy way to perform different actions. So I want to take a second and talk about that Outlook plugin. So if you want to save emails from Outlook to Claritysoft, if you want to sync your calendar, you're going to need the Outlook plugin, and that's available here at our download link. So if you want Claritysoft offline, you need to download it. It's at download.claritysfa.com. And we're going to go ahead and open this up here. And we're going to check out our download link. So give me 1 second here. And so we've got download.claritysfa pulled up here, download.claritysfa.com. And this is where you can access Claritysoft offline. This is where you can download it. And then the Outlook plugin. You can download the Outlook plugin. And we've made some changes to the Outlook plugin recently. We're going to do a training session on those, I believe, in January. That way you can go in and see some of the updates, because the Outlook plugin is now going to allow you to save items to opportunities, to save it to multiple contacts, things of that nature. So we're really excited about that. So we're going to have some training on that here shortly. But if you want the Outlook plugin so you can sync your calendar, you can just come to download.claritysfa.com. All right, guys. Well, I think that's the content I wanted to get through for you today. I know we cover a lot of material in a short amount of time, but we always like to save some time here at the end for questions. So if you have any questions on anything you saw today, anything we saw, and any other items here that you want to ask questions about, please feel free to type those up for me now. I'll be happy to answer them. If you have topics you'd like to see in future training sessions, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us those topics to info@claritysoft.com. We'd be happy to take those into consideration. And if you have any other questions, or you have questions after the call, things of that nature, you can always reach out to our support team. You can call or email them, and their information's right here in front of you. So you can always reach out to them. I did have one more question here from Kendra. Kendra asked if Claritysoft offers the ability to send customized surveys. Unfortunately, we don't have that ability, Kendra. However, you can do a mass email from Claritysoft, so you might create that survey in, say, SurveyMonkey, and then copy and paste the link in the Claritysoft and send out the link via our mass email tool. That would be my recommendation, but good question. All right, guys. Well, I don't see any other questions, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap things up for today. I thank you all so much for joining me, and hopefully you learned a little bit, and we'll see you again next week. All right. Take care, guys.